Actually, this lightning one feels appropriate because we've had quite a bit of that today, including somebody that had a strike a tree. So we'll do that one right there. Oh, hold on. I'm stepping out of frame. I didn't turn my lights on. Now you're seeing a bit of the TV magic. I don't always look that well lit. That was kind of spooky there. There we go. Okay, I'm back. All right, so things looking pretty nice out there for today as far as storms go. If you're a fan of that, I know a lot of people like rainy weather for sleeping in and taking naps and such. Today is good for that, but you also do have the storms out there, which we've had to watch out for. So far, not too many of them have been anything to worry about, but even the ones that aren't registered severe, still lots of lightning out there, looking like potential for cloud to ground strikes. And again, we mentioned that somebody had a tree struck. I believe it was late last night or early this morning. So that can be dangerous as well. But let's take a look at the headlines for today. It's just a couple of severe storms so far. I believe exactly 2 this morning were warned as severe thunderstorm warnings, and those were primarily for the moderate-sized hail and gusting winds, which had reached just up to that severe threshold of about 60 miles per hour. Most of the time it's averaging closer to 40, especially with this line you'll see in just a moment that's sitting up in the northern third of our Pine Belt area right now. So no active severe weather warnings in terms of severe thunderstorm warnings or tornado warnings or anything like that, but there are some flash flood warnings, which despite being one of the most deadliest forms of severe weather, we don't really do cut-ins for that or anything, but it is rather concerning at the moment. And we'll get to it. So we still have strong storms going on throughout the day. We remain under a level 2 risk of severe weather. Looks like Kathleen Cameron made it this morning. Hello. Hopefully everybody's staying dry out there because the rain will continue rather inconsistently from this point on throughout the day. With another round and a smaller round in the afternoon, and then one last one coming through tomorrow morning. And even then, I can't rule out one kind of trying to come back in as we head through the afternoon and evening, though it looks like we'll again see another kind of break right in the middle of the day from the rain for tomorrow. So I don't expect they'll increase our severe threat for today, and overall, based on where it was yesterday, it did diminish a bit. We're still under the level 2 risk, but you can see the level 1 there and basically no risk off towards the northwest as that line slowly pushes through. So overall it did diminish. There's no more hatched area for the hail, despite that being kind of the driver of the severe weather warnings this morning. And as we head into tomorrow, you can see our tornado threat basically drops to 0. But we still have a wind and hail threat, and that's all associated with that early morning storm passing through as we head into Saturday morning around sunrise. So even less of a severe threat. That one's really going to be more of a rainy problem, kind of what we're seeing on the northern end of our area right now, but definitely worth mentioning. So as we look outside right now here at Circle C Tractor in Waynesboro, one of my favorite cameras when it's nice and sunny. Right now that is not the case. You see all the cloud cover there, low gray skies, very damp ground, receiving just under an inch of rain within the last 24 hours. Susie Kelly says hello, or hey to you, Susie. There you go. In Wayne County going to be one of those areas that gets some more rain right now. Walt Massey Ford here in Columbia, you can see actively raining right now, just at 1.25 inches over the last 24 hours, and not really part of that line. Of course, Columbia is way further south in the northern third of our area, but starting to see some kind of spotty, discrete showers popping up over there as well. So as we look at the sky conditions for today, just letting the computer pull these in based on where it's putting its rain percentages and things like that, you can see that we do have kind of an up and down sky condition situation with the rain, the showers, and the thunderstorms sticking with us to the late morning, kind of dying off as we head past lunchtime, getting a bit of a break here with a little bit of or a little bit less activity out there, and then moving on throughout the day. So then you see that going up to about 82 for our high today. That's cooler than yesterday's 90, which I had at 89, and we ended up hitting that 90. With all that sun that we did see before the clouds started to move in. And then somebody's mentioning here USM baseball. We'll talk about that here in a moment, because I was disappointed to see those showers kind of start drifting in a little early. I know as the game was almost over, But lightning was just close enough to cause a delay, and then that caused, they'll have to try to squeeze that one in today. And we'll talk about the window when that's possible a bit here in a second. So inconsistent rain throughout the day. You can see the chances here. We do get that lull right in the middle of the day, which yesterday looked like we would see a small flare up, and that's been pretty steady all week long. Now I think all that moisture and energy is kind of getting pulled into what's going to happen Saturday morning with another round of showers and thunderstorms moving in. So this is what I hit the button too fast. This is what the entire southeast looks like. You see it's just a mess of clouds up there. A front basically draped right across the area. Warm front here, cold front extending down. There's the low it's attached to, and then there's an upper level low a little bit further towards the north that'll catch up to us, and that I believe will be what could bring us some showers into Saturday evening as well. Just kind of the tail end of things there. So as we zoom in here, you see all these green boxes. All of those are flash flood warnings. In effect, where heavy rain is popping up, because you see this line of storms here just basically kind of inched into our northern third and then set up shop and is just training those continuously strong heavy rains right now. I know somebody said So-So's getting a lot of rain right now, which wouldn't surprise me. You can see between Collins and Laurel here, you've got a nice little band of high reflectivity in there that very likely could have some hail mixed into it as well. But really the issue with these are, and I think I can change this right now. Yeah, very high rain rates. Now these are estimated by the radar, but it's starting to edge towards some white in there, purple and white, where that's where you're seeing upwards of 3 and 4 inches of rainfall an hour. Now thankfully it won't sit there for a full hour, but that is a lot of water coming down and likely what is leading to these issues as far as the storm reports. The only ones we have so far. Now we did have some gusty winds and hail. Don't believe they got any official confirmation of that hail. It was radar indicated from this morning, but we do have these flash flood reports, and that's been issued by law enforcement saying that up in Simpson County near Delo and Mendenhall, water is across the Strong River Road. So if you know people up in that area, you may want to make sure they're aware of that so they don't, first of all, get stuck in it, or if it gets worse, it could spread around there and cause problems. And that's because in just the last 6 hours, we're seeing upwards of 4+, I would say, edging towards almost 6 or at least 5 inches of rainfall having fallen in just that short amount of time. Again, with those very high rain rates and all of that band kind of moving across that area through all the way through Mendenhall to Raleigh, north of Silverena, and all those areas there. So pretty heavy rainfall there, likely leading to flooding issues, and it's just kind of slowly inching down. As we add the rest of yesterday in there, you can see well, you can't see because it's real small, but right about there, as we look into part of Smith County, kind of right in the northern central area, you're starting to get that purple, which means some localized areas are already seeing upwards of a half a foot of rain in just the last 24 hours, and I guarantee most of that fell here in just the last 3. So a lot of rain coming down there. And you can see where that band was and how it's just slowly kind of inching its way down. Thankfully, looking like it's starting to peter out on the backside. As that front gets a little bit closer, this will all kind of shift and we'll stop seeing new stuff popping up downstream. So finally that will stop. So as we let's see, any bad weather like Monday was? No, Monday was a lot of downbursting winds, and we didn't see any of that happening today. Just some gusting winds. I think the highest they estimated was about 60 miles per hour, and that's a good 30 short of where pretty much our baseline for Monday was. With some of those official reports now coming up from Marion County and over there near Lamar, showing upwards of 105, 110 mile per hour straight line winds with little tornadoes mixed in from time to time. The only 2 confirmed so far are in Lawrence County. They did have one initially confirmed for Jeff Davis, and then they upgraded or downgraded that to straight line winds based on the aerial shot where they could see the downburst pattern. So as we head throughout the morning here, you can see the strong storm. Again, most of it pushing east. We're still seeing those heavy pockets still lingering, kind of pushing down towards are not quite northernmost counties, but into the Jasper, Wayne, Clark County range, even potentially Covington there. So that could, again, exacerbate those flooding issues that are already popping up. As we start heading towards lunchtime, you can see things starting to break up a bit, mostly cloudy on the northwest with the showers becoming very spotty. We're seeing the tail end of that line that's caused all those flooding problems finally really starting to give out, but by that time having pushed down more towards the central Pine Belt, bringing at least a couple of pockets of rain. You can see this particular one showing that it's got one near Hattiesburg at that moment. Again, the model's not going to put it exactly where it goes, but it's picking up on the spotty nature of where those are going to pop up. Very inconsistent as far as rainfall goes. Then we head into the afternoon where you see it just really becomes cloudy, but even then you can't quite get rid of that stray shower chance there. I do believe as far as a severe weather break, we'll be getting one of those at this time, though the model keeps trying to show one of these areas flaring up, which it has been, and now it looks like it just dropped off there. And then as we start heading into Saturday morning, so somebody talking about if we were going to get that USM game in, if that was going to happen, there it is, Chris Mall said that. If that was going to happen, it would be during that time, right? Let's see if I can stop it and go back. It would be during this time right here. So that line finally breaks and leaves us. By about 2 p.m., we're looking at really just clouds in the area with the stray spotty shower here that won't be able to get deep enough to really get any severe weather going. If one does pop up and overachieves, it can produce lightning, and that's of course what caused the delays week before last with the games. They weren't even overhead. The sprinkles at the stadium, because I was at that game, and the lightning was like 15 miles away, which is still close enough to hit. It's a lottery chance that happens, but it is close enough. So as we head from about 2 to 6, you do have a nice window there where any activity will be very few and far between, but you can't rule out that it would pop up in that area and that any nearby lightning might cause a delay. And that lasts up until the nighttime, all the way up until we start heading towards the overnight hours, closing in on midnight, and that's when you see the next low pressure system with the kind of warm front situation there starting to push in, bringing back those kind of light to moderate showers, and then once that low pressure catches up to us, we'll see some heavier showers starting to push in, but looking a little bit better than the last run of this, kind of forcing everything more towards the south and the east. So we're just kind of getting the northern end of that at this point. We'll see if that trend holds, because that'd be good for us. So you see that running through there all the way into 9 o'clock Saturday morning. Now that's about the last of the rain there, and then we'll actually see the sun come out rather quickly. That upper level low is still close enough that as it passes by, especially after things warm up, you can kind of see it trying to generate some spotty showers here. So I know that the game was already planned for Saturday by about 1 o'clock, so that does look like that one is not in any sort of danger unless that morning low really lingers close by. But after that, it looks like you're pretty good for several hours until you start heading into the evening, when just that upper level low could support a few heating-based thunderstorms popping up there. And we're just really approaching that time of year where that can happen pretty much any given day at any given time. So as we look at the potential rainfall the rest of the day, it's not counting what's already fallen. Again, there's upwards of a half a foot in some of these areas, but adding at least an inch or more to a few areas there for the rest of the day. And then that morning into the afternoon looks a little bit better since it has pushed everything off towards the south. It was still putting like 3 inches here just 5 minutes ago when I was looking at it. So that does look good. So always a good idea, especially with these kind of inconsistent showers. Have something like our app. It's free to get. It's got a live radar on it, so you can look, see where they're popping up. It does have the lightning indicator on it too, so you can kind of see where those lightning producers are. Not every shower that pops up, especially if it's being propped up by heating, can generate lightning, but you can see the ones that do, and they generally kind of rain themselves out pretty quickly from there. So your weekend forecast is looking pretty good. You got still a 40% chance there for Saturday. That's again the front half of the day, looking like it's going to be finished by about 9 o'clock in the morning, and then start clearing up pretty nicely for some sunny weather before that upper level low catches up. And that'll all have to be dependent on how much heating it gets and how close that low passes overhead to kind of support that that lifting due to the heating. After that, though, Sunday is looking absolutely fantastic, just edging into a hot period there, especially after the last couple of days have been rain cooled. And then we start closing in on 90 again. And then before you know it, next week starts with us in the 90s, edging towards the mid 90s there with very high humidity, dew points closing in on low 70s, but definitely lingering in the upper 60s there. That's that kind of July, August type weather that we had about a week and a half, 2 weeks ago. That lingered in the area. So once that rain is done, you can see we have several. Wednesday showing a few spotty showers there, but it's really, I don't believe, until Thursday that we would have a real chance of seeing any real active weather in the area. So several nice, dry, sunny days. They're just going to be very hot and humid, as we said, with the sunshine coming out, but temperatures in the low 90s with mornings in the upper 60s and low 70s, meaning your heat index is very likely going to be at triple digits. There. So any outdoor activities, you definitely have to start thinking like you're in summer. Bring some water, bring a big shady hat, and take as many breaks as you can get away with there. Yeah, burning heat, somebody says, yep. Are we supposed to be getting any of that bad weather like Texas got? Yeah, Texas did get quite a bit of bad weather. In fact, like a quarter of Houston is without power. That is what is associated with the low that's kind of going to move now to the south of us, it looks like. By the time it gets here, it won't be anything like that. It has a lot to do. That's why you can't compare storms, really, because you could see like a low pressure system in the plains cause all kinds of problems, huge tornadoes. By the time it gets here, it doesn't have the same structure. It doesn't have the same dry air above it. It doesn't have the same heating over a flat plains area. And our air is a little bit heavier. Heavier air does help with rainfall, but it does kind of limit severe weather sometimes. So we won't be getting that, but we do still have that level 1 chance into tomorrow morning unless they update that out there. So yeah, I do believe they'll be able to get at least the back end of that game in today, the USM game, whenever they can do that. I'm not sure exactly when they said they were going to try to, probably after lunchtime, and possibly even get in their Friday game before any rain starts to move back in. But it'll be a close one today. Tomorrow's looking a lot better. Again, I don't make that call, but if I was guessing, I would say that Saturday might end up a doubleheader, but they may be able to get it in today. It's just where those lightning producers pop up and how close they are to the stadium, which is really the issue there. So let's see. Darlene Anderson says she likes to see the radar herself to judge, which I did have it up here a second ago. But you can also, like I said, that's one of the features of our app, is live radar. You can look at it all you want. And it does have the lightning indicator, which is helpful for that kind of stuff. So that's about all I've got for you for today. Biggest issues we'll have continuing for at least the next handful of hours will be the potential flooding, especially up where that band is, kind of pushing into Jasper, Jones, and Wayne County. It's already in the northernmost counties there and already causing problems, so hopefully it kind of dies out a bit before it finally pushes through there. By lunchtime, I expect we'll see things clearing up pretty quickly for us, at least in terms of active rain scattered about the area. But it's still going to be kind of an inconsistent day with that, with still little showers popping up, and under the right circumstances, they can overachieve and be a short-lived thunderstorm. But I do believe that things are looking pretty good severe weather-wise, and were all day. It was a pretty low chance anyway, and we only had a couple warnings. So if you want to follow me on the socials here, the two biggest ones I keep up with is Facebook, Ryan Mahan WDAM. Of course, if you're a fan of the stations page, you can already see these things there. Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, Ryan Mahan WX. I don't put out too much. I do most of my stuff on Facebook for severe weather and such, but I do a lot of arguing about Star Wars on Twitter there. So if you ever want to see that kind of fun stuff, you can go there. But I will let you go for the rest of the day. Be sure to stay tuned to midday and later on so we can kind of plan out the timing of those showers and pick up on trends and see if it's still going to be looking pretty good for us for that Saturday morning situation, now looking like it might be more of a northern Gulf situation as it may miss us with that last round of heavy storms. So I'll let you go. Enjoy your day. Stay dry. Avoid the lightning. And I'll see you next time.